So we're gonna sit just play like we have like a virtual couch going here, and
Okay,
it's just you and I. So
I like that.
awesome. So you are a children's book author,
I am indeed.
and tell our audience about some of the other things that you have going on. How did you come to be a writer, or what do you do in the and when you're not an author?
So I am actually, I have been in corporate America for 31 years, and yesterday was my last day. So I'm looking forward to this new chapter and spending more time with the books and doing more things and exploring more things as it relates to writing and just other ideas that are swimming in my head. So I'm looking forward to that. And I was fortunate enough to have a severance package that allows me a little bit of time to do that. So how did I become a writer? So I was in Barnes and Noble looking for books for my nephews and who were 4 years old at the time. I was looking for books specifically that featured black and brown boys. So me and the customer service rep, we're hunting. It was almost like finding a needle in a haystack. We found two, which was very, very disappointing to me, because in that store, in that space, with all of those books and all of those words and pages, there were only two books dedicated to telling stories that my nephews could relate to, featuring characters that look like them. But while disappointed, I just turned that problem into a passion and decided that I would write books for them. I would tell their stories and tell the stories of children like them, um, which is why I am now here. And while writing stories that feature black and brown boys, there are also stories that all children can relate to, right? There's stories that promote literacy. There's stories that promote self-love. There are stories that teach empathy, and an appreciation for books with characters in them that may or may not look like you, right? But it's important to teach our children to build that empathy muscle and to be able to see the world through someone else's eyes. So that is my story, how I arrived here.
Well, I love that empathy muscle. I love that. So, do your nephews make any appearances in your stories?
So my first book, I Am Me, the character is him, is my nephew. Um, when I write, I use the children in my lives or in my life or in my village. I use them as inspiration. And so Jaden, who is the main character in a 4-book series, um, is my nephew all day.
Oh, good. So, how did your nephew feel about that?
He was excited. They're like, oh my God, they're really excited. And then I shout them out in the dedications. But he's really, really excited. And I was too, to be able to, because I don't have children. So to be able to write something and leave a legacy behind for my nieces and nephews was very important for me. So I was excited. I probably was more excited than he was, obviously, but we were all excited. My family was excited.
So, tell us, and we're going to have you, if you would like to, you can share the book with us.
Okay.
Um, so, what is the book about, and what lessons does this particular? Is this a part of the 5-book series?
This is the first book, and then the first book, I Am Me. That's the first book in the series. And then my second book just came out in September, which is entitled Jaden and Zora's Crown. And Jaden is still the main character, but then you get to meet his friends.
Okay.
And so in I Am Me, it's really a book about a little boy who is here to declare to the world that he is a big deal. It's about self love, understanding your worth, valuing who you are, It's a very short story with a powerful message. Um, Jaden and Zora's Crown is a little more in depth, right? So that book is about Jaden and his friend Chad. They have a friend named Zora, a little girl, and it's about them learning to appreciate her natural hair. So it's through a dream and the help of their parents that they were able to celebrate Zora's natural hair. And while the book is focused on hair, it can be applied to skin color or dialect or an ability that you may have. So, yeah, I'm very proud of that one as well.
That's nice. I mean, definitely we need to celebrate ourselves and
For
love
sure.
ourselves, and that starts from a child. That
Definitely.
definitely starts from a young person being able to
Mhm.
look in that mirror and like what's reflecting back on them. Um,
Definitely. I
I
think
know. Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was going to say the other thing that I like about the second book is that it's not just about affirming self, but it's being able to affirm others and to see others. And so that was the lesson for Jaden and Chad to be able to see Zora and see her hair and to celebrate her.
And that's awesome. I mean, so we do need to celebrate each other and
Mm-hmm.
kids. I don't know. I think it was sometime last year. You may have heard the story about the little girl that was with her hairdresser, and she looked and she said that she did not feel like she was
I
beautiful,
saw that.
and
Hmm.
that was heartbreaking
Yes.
because I
Hmm.
mean I don't even know if that baby was 3 years old,
Yeah, she
and
was
so
young.
from
Hmm.
very early we have to receive those messagings
Yeah.
that we count, that we're
Yeah.
beautiful, and that we're strong, and all of that. I
Yeah.
would love to hear some of the book for sure.
Um, I can read I am me is very, very short, but again, the message is powerful. Okay. So it starts, I am Jaden, I am me. No one can be me. No, not like me. So I read this actually on with Cheryl. Cheryl Maine.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
really fun. These are I don't know if you can see this. These are my eyes. This is my nose. Here are my fingers. Here are my toes. My skin is brown, just like my dad's. It's like my mom's and my best friend Chad's. I am pretty cool. No, I'm not shy. My barber says he thinks I am fly. So a funny thing is that when I'm reading this book to youngsters, they're like, "What's fly?" I'm old school, right? So fly for me meant cool, but not to the little ones today. When I play games, all I do is win, and I do not cheat in any game I am in. Oh, how I love to read. My dad shows me how. And I like songs. I think I'll sing one now. And so he's singing a very popular song that the kids love when I read it. The Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay song. So that the kids get a kick out of that. And after my bath, after I have been fed, before I close my eyes and go to bed, I am happy that I am Jaden. I am me. No one can be me. No, not like me, because I am me. The end.
Very nice, very nice. And
Yes.
that's a book for beginning readers as
Yes.
well.
Mm-hmm.
To get that, to instill that love of reading
Mm-hmm.
very early on in their life, because I think not only is the message important, but reading is important
It's very.
um, to give people, young people at a very early age, especially during this pandemic. I was listening on the news to say that students are actually following behind because they don't have
Absolutely.
that structured reading.
Absolutely.
And so it's important to have books like yours out there that not only reflect the community, but also teach children how to read,
Yes,
and
that
in
was
a fun way and in an engaging way.
yeah, that was the burden for me when COVID first started. I'm like, well, how are they for those that are already challenged with reading and already face challenges and are already starting behind the eight ball? How are they going to keep up? How are they? What's it going to be like for them when this is all said and done? Will they be pushed through the school system, not having the skills needed to be successful when they're older? Like, what's going to happen to them? So I started the reading online to try to do my small part with that, not to negate at all the work that the teachers and parents are doing, just to kind of support where I could.
Yeah, and what Trevor is mentioning for Dreamspire Books, Cheryl Mays, who is our VP, came to me with an idea about having children's book read. We call it our storybook hour.
Mm-hmm.
And you can come on if you have a children's book and read your children's book, but also have an activity to go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, when you have young ones at home that are not in school or they're on distance learning, it's fun to have a little break. Is something different. And I love the fact that you can not only read your book, but you can also have an activity around it. So if
Yeah.
you want to get in contact with Trevor D and buy her book, we're going to flash this on the screen. So if you have another smart device that you're viewing us on, then I'm going to leave it up for a minute, and then we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we're going to come back with another author. But stick around. Oh, yes.
Can I read a
Go.
page in Jaden and Zora?
Oh, absolutely,
Thank
absolutely.
you. It'll be really quick. So in my head that night I dreamed my friend Zora was a queen. And sitting there on top of her head was the dopest crown I had ever seen. Only it was not really a crown of gold like Chad and I had in mind. It was her hair shining like the sun, so bright I almost went blind. Here's the
I
image.
love it. I love it. I love it. That
Yeah.
is beautiful for sure. And I love that name Zora because it, of course, reminds me of the author Zora Neale Hurst.
Zora Neale, yes. Hmm.
And definitely loved her work. Well, we're glad, and stick around because we might need to pull you up. We might have another round table. We're just going to let this flow. We want people to really get a chance to know the authors, to hear the authors. But we're going to flash this on the screen, so if people want to click and connect with you, bring out your smartphone and you'll be able to go directly where you can purchase the book I Am Me and the other books as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we were just talking with author Trevor D and her book I Am Me, and also her book about the Zora and Zora the Queen and me. And so we love it. We encourage you to stop by, get her book, connect with us, use the technology, put your smartphone over the QR code, and you can get the book right now. Or just bookmark it and go back